Sweden is supposed to be the poster child for a nation being able to survive a pandemic while staying open. But now they're finally experiencing the consequences of their actions.
The image Sweden is recently famous for, living well while much of the world is locking down. But it's deceptive. Scratch the surface and you still find great economic pain. These boats would normally carry hundreds of people every day during summer.
Enormous impact. Counting March, April, our turnover went down 93%, and it's still around the same.
This restaurant opened just weeks before the virus surged here.
Looking at the numbers, of course, it's minus, minus, minus.
And just like the hotels in heavily locked down cities around the world, those in Stockholm have sat mostly empty for months.
We are actually bleeding, and everyone in the hospitality industry in Sweden is bleeding heavily at the moment.
And it's many other industries too. Nearly 50% of Sweden's economy is, like this designer shoe brand, largely built on selling stuff to people in other countries. So even while many Swedish businesses could stay open, the global crisis destroyed international demand for their products.
The biggest hit was obviously export, and the biggest hit is obviously US. US is our second largest market.
And Swedish manufacturers were also cut off from international supply chains. Carmaker Volvo shut down its Swedish plants for 3 weeks because it ran low on parts. It all means Sweden's economy is predicted to contract this year by more than 5%, with hundreds of thousands losing jobs.
We have never seen a crisis hitting this broadly within the economy or this deep within the economy.
That's on top of a disturbing COVID-19 death, more than 5,500 in a small country of just 10 million. So some Swedes are now asking, was staying open worth it?
I think the price paid in terms of lives lost has been too high. That's, of course, a value judgment, but I think it's a rather sensible value judgment.
Swedish officials have always insisted their key goals are protecting lives and the health system, with economic considerations further down the line.
A very important part of our strategy to try to create an awareness within the population and to have it over a longer term, because I think that's more viable than trying to shut down.
Sweden's soft touch experiment, pushing personal responsibility and social distancing, is still being watched around as governments desperately try to find the right balance. But the early results suggest an obvious conclusion. There is no pain-free solution to living with COVID-19. Phil Black, CNN,